Let me guess, you've been beamed quite a few times now and it's driving you crazy. It feels like you shoot and shoot people, then they just drop you ridiculously quick, right? Well, I'm going to outline some reasons as to why sometimes it does feel like this. First off, they just may have better weapons than you that are stronger or with a quicker fire rate. Now, it's fun to try and use a bunch of different weapons and fight off any staleness that comes with using the same weapons all the time. However, when you're investing potentially 20 plus minutes in a Warzone game, you want to have the best possible weapons with you. Now generally, these are the M4A1, the grau 5.56 for the ARs, although the M13 and the RAM7 are up there too. For SMGs, it's the MP5 and MP7, and for snipers, it's the HDR and AX50. Once you equip the best possible weapons, you then need the correct attachments to capitalise on the attributes of your weapons. This generally means you'll need to rank them up to a pretty good level. I'm not going to go through all of the attachments for each weapon here, as there are a bunch of videos around that show you some good suggestions, including one of my own for the grau that I'll put as a card that you can click here. The next big reason to why you're feeling like you're dying so fast in Warzone, which you can improve upon, is the gunfight situations that you can find yourself in, and I've split this up into a few different parts. First up is the point at which you start contact with another player or team. You have to question many things quickly that can help you decide when and if you should engage an opponent, such as how many of the opponent there are, how many there are of your team, how much armour you have, where the enemy's cover is, and can you drop them before they get to any, and what cover you have at your disposal, as well as the position of the gas. Are you going to be stuck between this team and the gas, or the other way round? Now, all of these questions can ultimately decide how aggressive to be and when to actually engage with them, giving you the best chance to come out on top. Having no armour with the gas on your back in the middle of a field, for example, isn't the time to start a fight. Speaking of cover, can you find some and maybe get into the mounted position with your weapon? This gives the enemy a very small target to hit and gives you insanely good recoil control to maximise the potential to kill your opponent. Of course, there's the chance the enemy may have incredibly good shots and burn you in seconds with only headshots, but that's kind of unlikely. On that note, you should try and adapt your game to be aiming at the upper body and head, as this deals much more damage than elsewhere on the body, and can be the difference between winning and losing a gunfight. This is one of those things you just have to try and adapt into your game, and you'll improve on it over time, and it's well worth investing in. Another point on the gunfight situation is the distance you are away from the opponent relative to the weapon you are using. For example, if you're taking pop shots with an SMG at medium to long distance, what do you realistically hope to achieve apart from getting into a very tough gunfight and alerting the rest of the map to your whereabouts? Similarly, if you've got a heavier all-round AR, is it wise pushing someone in a building who may have an SMG? Probably not. On other occasions, it may feel like you die quickly and don't stand a chance in a gunfight because the enemy already knows where you are. This could be through UAVs, recon drones and heartbeat sensors, which pretty much everyone runs these days, so that highlights the importance of having the right perks. In this instance, Ghost as perk 2 is a must-have. Similarly, I highly recommend EOD versus the spamming of RPGs and C4s that most players run. If you don't manage to have your perks for whatever reason, and you're pretty sure a player or a team is honing down on your location, I advise to keep moving and maybe even try and push them. This ensures their intel doesn't give them the chance to know the exact position of you and your team, where you're vulnerable to equipment and pre-aiming on your positions. Keeping them guessing is your best bet to get out of that scenario, and you can actually use their strengths against them. Alternatively, if you can manage to find a position that will be incredibly difficult to kill you from, even if someone knows your location, of course, set up there. Now, these are generally areas where there's only one entrance and you have cover, and ideally some equipment laid down, such as, proximity mines or trophies. Outlining the reasons as to why you seem to die so fast on Warzone, like I have here, is designed to help you avoid dying so quickly in the future, and by following some of the advice I've shared, slowly you'll see your KD creeping up, and ultimately you'll start winning games more. This advice isn't made for you to be more defensive and stop dying this way, it's about choosing when to be aggressive and giving yourself the highest percentage chance possible of coming out on top. Now I hope this video has been helpful in some way, and if you've got a second, maybe give it a like, and if you're feeling particularly generous, you should really subscribe and make my day. See ya!